Okay, and we should be live now. Just as usual, need to check the stream to make sure that everything's working fine. No, I will started the music. See, it's good to check. Okay, yeah. I think we're all set up now to start. Okay. Yeah. And I will take this off and need to do one last thing. Just yep. Okay, we are ready. So welcome. Yeah, welcome everyone to this stream. It's been a while since I last streamed. I've been busy with multiple other things, to be honest, so couldn't really do any streaming. Couldn't even do much work on the component, but we basically have reached an important milestone, which is actually me publishing the first release of the component, which is now available for anyone to download and use on NPM. So, and the repository is still the same GitHub repository. The only thing I added to it was this README, which basically includes some instructions on how to install and use the component. Same thing is available here on NPM. So yeah, in general, publishing the component wasn't really too hard. All you need to do basically is just create an account on NPM, and then you basically just run the npm publish command, and that would be all. Let me just do one thing just to make sure. Yeah, because when I was actually publishing it, I was doing all the work on my laptop, so I made most of these changes were actually made on the laptop. So yeah, just needed to make sure that I have the latest update, the latest basically version of the source code. So yeah, as I said, all you need to do is just run the npm publish command, npm login first, which basically asks you for your credentials, So yeah, you run the login, and then once done, you just run npm publish, and it will ask you some questions, and you just go through them and finalize everything. One thing to remember is to add some keywords in your package.json file, because these keywords will be picked up by npm here. If we go all the way down to the end, they are actually added in the in here in the on the page for the component, but you can also search for them. So like if you search for React component, of course my component will not be one of the first one to show up, probably not even gonna show up on, it's like there are 900 pages of different React components, so and they're all more popular than my component. So using this keyword isn't actually gonna help, but I have some other things which, like TweetTextarea. I might also add some more today, maybe like Twitter tweet or something like that, just to basically increase the chances of it being found, because as you can see, the popularity is 0%. So yeah, not a lot of people, don't think like anyone has actually seen it and used it. Like it says that there are like some weekly downloads here, but this is usually, I would like, as far as I know, for such low number, it's usually just bots downloading the component. So like, not sure what exactly they're used for, but yeah, it's not usually people actually using it. It's more likely that these are just bots downloading it. But yeah, anyway, that was the major change that happened. I didn't really think that needed to be streamed, although it was quite an interesting thing to do, but it wasn't really something that made sense for streaming. So yeah, for now I just did it on my own off stream, and we're probably going to go through it again today, because I have some changes that I would like to make, and with these changes, like, they will be basically a new version of the component, and then we can go through publishing it today as well. So yeah, let's just get started with it. So the first thing I would like to do is this. Last time when I was creating these types, I forgot about something that would make it even like simpler to create this TweetTextarea props type, which is the extends keyword. So the way it works is this: interface TweetTextarea props extends. We will just copy that, paste it here, and do this. We'll rebuild the component as usual. So I'll move it here. And I think I'm missing something. Oh yeah, sorry. Forgot the... So this way it's just one interface declaration instead of declaring an interface and then just adding a type. It just didn't make much sense, and I just completely forgot about the extends keyword. So that was the main, like one of the changes that I wanted to make today. The other changes that I want to make is, as you can see here, we are giving the user basically the ability to pass all the attributes that are accepted by the HTML dev element except for these 4. So first of all, the ref is not actually an HTML attribute for the dev element. It's something that React adds, so technically we don't need to omit it here. But even if we do this, even if we remove it, we still won't be actually allowed to pass the ref attribute. We might not get a warning or an error from TypeScript, but it still won't work. So the user won't be able to actually pass a ref object to the component, which is something, when I came to think about it, doesn't make much sense, because the user might actually want to pass a ref object and use it basically for, like, to update something or do something with the component, like basically what you usually do when you're using the ref in React. So the way that we're going to do that is as follows. So we will use forward ref from React, and the way we're going to do it is this. So first we are going to create TweetTextarea equal forward ref, which is a generic function that takes the HTML, sorry, not HTML, React.ref. What was it? Forward ref. No. Yeah, sorry. Takes the type of the component that is going, the type of the element that is going to be passed to it. So HTML dev element, and then it can take the props type. Why is it complaining? This. Am I missing something here? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's just freaking out. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pass it a function which has the takes the props and takes a React forwarded ref HTML element, and then basically it will run all of that, and it will return JSX.element. And we just export it as normal. So in this case, ref is not actually used yet. So what we need to do is basically the way that we're going to allow the user to pass a ref to the component without actually changing the ref that we're passing here. So basically the component will continue to function as we expect it, but at the same time the user will be able to use to actually pass a ref and do something with the ref is by using the use effect. So we'll do this here, use effect, and it takes a function, and we'll update it every time the editor ref.current changes. So here's what we're going to do. So first we need to check something. If editor ref and edit, actually nope, we're not gonna check for it, because if it's null we want to set it to null as well. So here's what we're going to do. Since our ref can be null, let's actually pass this as a type here. To make sure that we don't get any errors. At least that's in my head that makes sense, but maybe it actually doesn't. I'll leave it for now as it is, and then we'll think about it. So here's what we're going to do. We will do something if type of ref equal function, function, because ref could be a function, it doesn't have to be like a ref object, it could be a function. So we will just do this editor ref.current, else we are going to do ref as mutable as react.mutable ref object dot current equal editor ref.current. Yeah, requires a type argument, makes sense. Hey man, so the difference between JavaScript and TypeScript, welcome to the stream first of all, sorry, but yeah, the main difference between JavaScript and TypeScript is this thing here that you see in the let's try to type out a simple function here, for instance. If we type this function, this is basically a simple function that adds to, in our head, this is like this is basically JavaScript. So if you write this, it will work fine in JavaScript, and it will work fine in TypeScript, by the way. But the problem here is basically we have an expectation, like when we create this function, we expect A and B to be two numbers, or maybe two strings, or a string and a number. But then with JavaScript, because you don't actually have types, there's no way to actually tell what this function is what is the type of the argument that you're supposed to pass to this function. So for instance, if I type something like this, and I type here name, and we just need to actually convert this to a string, and language JavaScript. We're not going to get any errors or anything here in our code editor, because what we're doing is that we're telling it that this function can accept any type of argument. But the problem is, if you try to add these two objects together, if you actually try to run the function, it doesn't make sense. So if we run it here, nothing will happen. Like, to actually show you this, if we come here and do the same thing in the console here, function add a b, and then return a plus b, and then we run this with name. Can't even type my name. Language JavaScript, and if we try to maybe call it result, and if we try to console log that result, if we run that code now, you basically see like it does something weird, and it tells you, like, gives you object, like it's just prints something that doesn't make sense. This is because mainly when we created this function, we probably were thinking that the user would pass some numbers to it, but we don't know what actually happens. What TypeScript adds basically is the ability to tell the function that this accepts only a number. So this is called like a type a type hint basically. So we're telling it that the parameter A should be a number, parameter B should be a number, and we could even tell it what the function will return. In this case, it will return a number. Once we do that, as you can see, we immediately get that, like, wait a second, there's an error here, that this is not a number. This is something that happens only in TypeScript. Like, once you compile TypeScript into JavaScript, this will still be acceptable, and it will run, and it will do some other things. So you'll still need to create some checks here, like if type of A is not number, or type of B is not number, sorry, and then return, for instance, and so what this adds basically is for you as a developer the ability to make sure that you're using the functions properly. So if I use the function add in the code and I pass it something that it's not supposed to take, in this case I'm passing an object when it's supposed to take a number, this is basically what is happening here. The reason I added undefined is because here I'm doing a type check, and if the user passes a wrong parameter, I'm telling the function to return nothing. So what this happens here is that now I'm telling TypeScript that this function could return either a number, which if the user passes two numbers correctly, as they should do, then it will add the two numbers together and return that. But if the user passes something else, then it will return nothing. And this vertical slash thing is basically called an OR. So you're creating an optional type like this. All of this, like number, starting from here, this up to undefined is called an optional type, which means that it could either be a number or could be undefined. Same thing, you can create it's something like, similar to else, but think of it more as this, like if you're familiar with JavaScript, you can do something like this. So let's say const a is so this is called an OR, but this is what we use for JavaScript for values, but this is the equivalent for that, but for TypeScript types. So when you want to create a type that can be either this or that, then you use the optional type, and you do that by using this this operator here, the OR operator for types. Does that make sense? I am not the best at explaining things, but tell me that if it doesn't make sense, and I'll try to explain it again. It's similar, but as I said, like you still use the double vertical slash thing as OR, but for values in TypeScript. So I can still type something like that. Let's say, for instance, I have const a, which is a number, and it's 5. Actually, let's for now const a equal null, const b equal 5 or 54, whatever. And then when I come to create const c, I can do this. In TypeScript, I can still do a or b. Basically, what is happening here is I'm telling it if a is a valid is truthy, so it's not null or undefined, or actually 0 in this case, then make c equal to b, or assign the value of a to c, and if not, just assign. So you can still use that in TypeScript. It's just that in here, the single vertical slash thing is only used for type. There's something else that I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but in here, if I zoom in a little bit, you see that there are two file extensions for TypeScript. There's the TS file and there's the TSX file. So TS is for regular TypeScript files, but TSX was for basically React, like when you're creating React components in TypeScript, you have to use the extension TSX. So yeah, but as I said, basically the added value of TypeScript is mainly for you as a developer, is that it gives you warnings like this if you pass like an argument that doesn't match the correct type that is expected by the function. But yeah, that's basically the difference between JavaScript and TypeScript. You're welcome. Yeah, just anytime basically you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll try to explain them as best as I can. As I said, like, I'm not really the best at explaining things, but like, yeah, I try. Let me just check something quickly. So yeah, so this is missing type, and I am going to do the same here. So basically what's happening here is, as I said, every time the editor.ref.current changes, when the component is mounted or unmounted, it basically gets updated in the ref object that the user actually passes. So this is the equivalent of just basically just passing the ref here on the component itself. It's just we can't do that here because we don't want to reset the ref object that we're using for the component to actually work. So we can now pass a ref object, can basically allow the user to pass a ref object, and let's actually try to use it to make sure that it's actually working. So let's save that component here and wait for it to rebuild. Yeah, here we go. Let me quickly open the test app that we're using. Not this, sorry. Yeah, man. So here's what we're going to do. Import use ref from React, and then we are going to create text area ref, which is use ref, and could be dev element or null, and we'll pass null here, and then we can actually do that. And then we need use effect. Oh, sorry. So we do this, create use effect, with text area ref and text area ref current, then console.log text area ref current. Actually, let's just, okay, maybe it won't work properly, so let's keep it like that. And let's go here to the React app, and okay, something is not working. User is not assignable. Okay. Yeah, it's just acting up. We need to yarn build. We're continuing to have some issues with like rebuilding the component on the fly. It's much better than what we had before, but it still sometimes just freaks out and does weird stuff. So I'm assuming that if I restart now, it should be fine. Yeah, here we go. It's fine, and as you can see here in the console, basically it actually printed the component, which is what we expected. Of course, using like the reason why we would want to use the ref, for instance, is using that we can sometimes like for instance when I am going to be using it in the actual application that I am building this component for, and the way I'm going to use it is I think I'll be getting the length of the text whenever the user types something into the editor. I'm going to be actually getting the length of the text from the component. So that's why I'll be using the ref, and that's why I needed to actually enable the ability to actually pass refs to the component. So yeah, that's how I'm going to use it, and yeah, it seems to be working now. So if I refresh again, yeah, it seems to be working, and yeah, it looks fine, which takes us to the next thing I would like to do, which is as you can see here, we have disabled the ability to for the user to actually pass the onBeforeInput and onInput event handler, which again, there was a reason for that, which is that these are the event handlers that we're using for the component to actually work, but we don't really need to prevent the user from doing it. All we need to do is just whatever the user passes as an event handler, we actually run it inside our event handlers here. So that's basically what we're going to do. So we're going to delete this one and do the same. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to run them here before we check for the editor ref, because even if the editor ref is not assigned, there still might be something that the user wants to run no matter what. So we'll just run it, and yeah, it's up to them then basically to handle what happens if the component is not actually mounted properly or something like that. Like, yeah, they basically will do that in their own event handlers. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to do if props dot on before input, and props dot on before actually sorry, type of props dot on before input equal function, then props dot on before input, run it with the event, and we are going to do the same for the on input. Paste it here. Change that one as well, and change that one. And again, that is simply it. We don't need to do anything more with this. That's all we wanted to do. So if we save now and rebuild the component, we should be able to actually pass event listener from, well, the user should be able to pass their own event listeners in here. So let's actually do the thing that we were doing, we said we wanted to do. So let's say, for instance, I want to get the length of the text inside the text area every time the user types something. So input listener equal event react, not react DOM. I think I haven't imported react actually. Dot form event dot html dev element, and here's what we're going to do. If text area ref and text area ref dot current, then console dot log, and I forgot the arrow, console dot log text area ref dot current dot text content dot length, and we will just pass this here. Seems to be fine. So if we save it, go here and why is it not? Okay, I think we just need to do the same thing again. Just close this and start it again, I think. Yeah, here we go. It runs. So as you can see, basically we're typing some text here, and every time we type it, we actually get the length basically of the text inside the component. So yeah, that basically it. We now have all of like the ref and the before input and on input all working properly as they should, which is the main thing we wanted to achieve today. So let's actually delete that. We don't need any of these imports anymore, and now we can save. No issues here. So the one thing that we're still not going to allow the user to pass is the content editable attribute, because there isn't really anything that like there isn't any reason that we would want the user to be able to override this attribute here, basically. So yeah, all of this now works, and we have one more thing to do, which is the highlight class name. As you remember, we said that we want to give the user the ability to actually override the highlighting style, same way we've given them a way to okay. I am checking to make sure that it's not null, right? 1 second. Oh, I'm not actually. If ref, so we need this, just so we don't try to assign to that ref object if it is null, if the user hasn't passed any ref objects. We need to make sure that the component still works. So yeah, everything seems to be working fine, and now we can just continue typing. But yeah, as we said, we have some default styling applied here, but there's no way that the user, like anyone using the component, would be happy with just using default styling, because it means that it might not work with the theme of choice. To be honest, this styling wouldn't even work with the theme of my app. So if I go to my app here, as you can see, this is the theme. So imagine this highlighting. Like, let's actually inspect this element, and yeah, let's copy this color and let's type something here. If I try to change this to that, it just looks really bad, like there's not enough contrast. So I would be, anyone using the component would want the ability to actually change that default styling, and the way we're going to do that is by allowing them to pass an attribute called highlight class name. However, there's one thing that we need to make sure that we're doing, is that because here we're passing all the props we're getting from the user into the dev component, the highlight class name is not a valid component for the dev element, for the HTML dev element. So what we need to do is, in here in the props, we actually need to destructure that object. So we get highlight class name and then the rest of the props in here without this, and this way all of the code that we have written here will continue to work. It's just that now props will not actually include the highlight class name attribute that we are basically allowing the user to pass. Because if we don't do that, we'll get an error saying like highlight class name attribute does not exist on the dev element. And to make it clear, I'll actually rename props into HTML dev attributes. So it's even more clear now that like these are just the attributes that are accepted on the HTML div element. And as you can see, Visual Studio Code already like changed the name everywhere. We used the name props before. So how are we going to actually pass this class name? The problem I have here is that the function that are actually assigning the class name is actually this format function, which is not something that we use directly in the component itself or anything. It's just it's something that is used by functions that are used by other functions, so we need to basically pass the that attribute down multiple functions, which is slightly annoying to me, but I can't think of any other way to do it, so I'll do it that way then. And if I come up with something else, I'll just use it. I'll update it later. So for now, let's do highlight class name as a string, and then in here we will basically add highlight class name or highlight. So if the user passes something, even by the way, if it's an empty class or like class with no, if they type the class name and then don't assign any value to it, it will still be used. So like if they wanna reset the styling completely, it's up to them. I don't want to prevent them from doing that. So let's actually format so which function is this one? Format after new paragraph. So yeah, this will need the highlight class name as well, which annoying. Highlight class name, and it could be the string, and then we'll just use it here. So that's fine. We need to find it, so it's also used here in the format node triplet function. So let's do the same thing again. As I said, I'm not too happy about the fact that I have to do it like that, but for now I'll keep it, and then we will think about it a little bit more. So yeah, that's it. So we have basically the format after new paragraph and the format node triplet functions, which are used inside the listeners, specifically inside the input listener. So yeah, we've added the highlight class name here, so we need to basically do the same in here. Yeah, format after new paragraph and after user input. So we'll just highlight class name string and basically pass it here. Highlight class name Okay, doesn't seem that we're actually we're missing something. Yeah, we're missing this one. Highlight class name string, delete the J, and that's, I think, because we are running the format node triplet here. Yeah, that's the reason why. So if we pass this, all errors disappear, and then in the TweetTextarea component itself, we need to run this. Have we actually? Yeah, we haven't added it here. So highlight class name string. What did I do? This is actually the before input, not the correct one. Oh yeah, so we're fine, we passed it here. Then we just need to pass it here. Highlight class name, and I think that should be fine. Okay, let's go here, no errors, so it should be fine. And let's try something. We still get the default highlighting because we're not passing anything, but let's see what happens if we do class name equal nothing first. What? We're getting some errors here, I'm not sure why. Well, that's okay, that doesn't make any sense. Let's try again. Maybe it's just glitching or something. Yeah. Yeah, there was like a glitch or something. I'm not sure what happened really. But let's see. Yarn at aim. Okay, that's strange. So maybe when we pass an empty class name, it actually doesn't consider it. It basically just treats it as if the user hasn't passed anything. Okay, maybe. Let's try custom highlight. Oh, sorry. I am actually doing the completely wrong thing. Highlight class name and delete that one. So yeah, it still doesn't actually, if it's an empty class name, it treats it as if the user hasn't passed it. So let's try custom highlight. Maybe we need to refresh just in case. Yep. Okay, interesting. So let's try again. Yeah, if it's empty, it's as if the user hasn't passed anything. But if the user passes something, then it should be basically it should override the style. So let's say we want to do this custom highlight, and let's say that we want the color to be navy, font weight should be bolder, and yeah, for now, here we go. So now the user can actually just override the style for the highlighting. They can override the style for the editor. So let's say that we border, come on, solid 2px breadth, for instance, and height we want it to be 100 ph, so it actually fills the entire thing. And then we're going to pass it the class name, which is going to be editor. And as you can see, it literally now have red red border that is 2 pixels wide. We can add some padding, WM, and box sizing, border box, as you can see, yeah. And then public, let's see what happens. Go to, not what I wanted, here we go, it works, and check, yeah, something like that. But yeah, this is basically the whole point of the entire thing, basically, is that like we are giving the user the ability to customize how the component looks, and whether in terms of the component itself or the highlighting that is applied inside the component. And if we go back here and remove all of that, come here, remove those 2 attributes, save, everything will go back to normal. We'll just need to yeah, here we go, it goes back to using the default styling. So that's actually almost everything that I was planning on doing today. However, there is there's something that came to my mind now, which basically the class names I'm using, they're not really unpredictable or something. Someone can maybe pass a similar class name, and I want to see exactly what would happen in this case. Let's say someone actually creates a class called highlight, make the color red, for instance, and then highlight class name equal highlight, because it's literally in the name of the attribute. So someone might think, okay, I'll just name my class highlight. And what would happen in this case? Yeah, see, it will actually apply the original styling. I don't want that network. Let me just make sure I saved everything. Yeah. Yeah, because this is passed in line. This is how we actually the way that we're building the CSS, it's sort of bundled inline. So because now, like, an inline attribute is has a higher priority. I think this is what's no, I don't think that's what they call it in CSS. Can't remember what's it called now. But yeah, what ends up happening is that the user actually by mistake uses not by mistake, just because they don't know, just uses the name of a similar name to our class names that we're using in the component itself. The styling actually gets overridden, which means that we need to come up with a way to maybe scramble the name of the class, do something. I know that Material UI does something like that, which it scrambles the name. What the hell is happening here? Okay. So we can delete that one. Delete that one. So how can we do this? Let me think a little bit about it. Material UI class name scrambling, something like that. Not what I want. Sorry. Okay, I don't think I will actually add that ability now, because I really need to read a little bit about it more and try to figure out if there's a way to basically achieve what I want. For now, I will just maybe try to just make the class names slightly harder to just predict or something. Not to hide them. Like any person would be able to just like use the inspector and figure the class names out. Just so that the user actually doesn't accidentally create the same class name or something. Maybe to actually we'll just use TweetTextarea main. General style, and maybe copy that, go to the CSS, and then in here just some longer names to basically avoid someone accidentally just using the same name until I figure out a way to maybe do this in a slightly better way. Let me just check something quickly on my phone here. Okay. Not sure what's happening. My voice is cracking, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah. Let's see what's happening here. Yeah, so we now have the correct styling, the correct class names, I mean. Yeah, TweetTextarea entity highlighting. So yeah, that now at least means that these names are slightly harder to sort of stumble upon, and it's unlikely that we'll have any clashes by the user creating a class of the same name. We don't need to do anything with the utilities or the listeners now. All of that seems to be fine. Update user define ref whenever the internal ref updates. That's sort of clear. Cast ref to immutable ref object, otherwise we won't be able to update its current property. And all that's fine. Great, so what we can do now is we can actually get into publishing the new version of the component. Let me just okay, so here's what we're going to do. actually, I forgot something. Package, we will pump that to 1.1.0 because it adds functionality. It's not like a bug fix release or anything. It adds functionality, but it doesn't break the existing basically functionality of the component. So yeah, we rebuilt it, and yeah, no issues whatsoever. Let's make sure that everything's actually still working. Class name equal text area, highlight, class name equal highlight, and we come here, let text area border solid 2px blue, and highlight color weight border, and yeah, that's good. And say 200 days of code. Here we go. Yeah, that works. Let's try to import use ref from React const ref text area, const text area ref equal use ref HTML dev element or null, and it will be null for now. And yeah, we need to pass the ref here. Const input listener, if I can type, equal event. Actually, we don't need the event, but we need the arrow. If text area ref and text area ref dot current, then console.log current text content dot length, and in here we need to add on input equal input listener, and let's see. Yep, everything's still working. Great. Let's check that we're actually getting the correct length. Text length online. Yeah, it's correct because the last thing we printed was 80, and it's, yeah, so we're getting the information properly. So yeah, now we can remove all that, and delete this. We don't really need it. And yep, here we go. everything is back to normal. Okay, so we are now ready to publish a new version, although I remembered something. We need to update the README and okay. Let's find. Yeah, here we go. Not what I wanted. Set for let's get this quickly. Highlight last name. And we'll copy that. Not what I wanted. Okay, so as far as I can tell, we have updated everything. Let me go through it quickly. Installation, usage. Okay, looks good to me. Just need to add one more thing. Just need to add a small note here. This is just some documentation for developers who might be interested in actually playing with the code, not just using the component. So I'm just explaining some of the issues we've had with building the component in watch mode, and how it can fail sometimes. Yeah, I think that should be fine. One thing that is worth doing is the running the tests to make sure that that they actually still work. Let's close this TweetTextarea. Not sure why I did that. But yeah, we just need to make sure that we have everything. Great. So let's run the test for Google Chrome and Firefox, just to make sure that they're working on both of these browsers. It'll take a couple of minutes. What is happening? Why are they stuck? Strange. Let's exit this, yarn, build. Maybe we need to make sure we're building it again. here, yarn start. So yarn test. Okay, seems like there's some issue, so let's project on desktop Chrome and let's run tests index general. Okay, don't think formatting. I think there's something wrong, like maybe playwright or something. Let me just, everything is up to date. So let's run it in debug mode and see what actually happens here. So go to, that's fine. What an idiot, sorry. Yeah, my mistake. Because we changed the name of the class, not what I wanted, mate, not what I wanted. Let's actually let's actually do this. dev.tweetTextarea should be all in the test files. Yep, that's fine. So let's copy that one here, paste it, and then paste this one here. Yes. Okay, that should be updated. Span, highlight. What? Only 7. How? Let me check quickly. Hashtag. Okay. Then yeah, that's fine. We will just do this. Span dot. What I wanted. Okay. Place. So that should be working now. Let's see. Let's run just the one test here. Yeah, here we go. So now I think we should be fine running all of them again. Yeah, here we go. Oh, I freaked out. I thought something's broken with the code or with the playwright itself, or yeah. But yeah, this should take a couple of minutes and hopefully all of them should be passing. But we'll wait until all of them actually run, and yeah. Oh, we have some. Okay, we have some failing tests. Need to check if the playwright has a way to rerun the failed tests. Microsoft Playwright rerun failed tests. I'm not sure why these ones are failing, to be honest, but yeah, we'll try them again. Let me check something. Okay. There's no ones that have a short delay or something. Sometimes what happens is that like it just fails, but if you run the test again it succeeds. So I'm not sure exactly what happens here. But yeah, as I mentioned before, I'm still quite new to Playwright, so there's still loads of things that I don't really know, so I might be doing something wrong. So we have 18 failed tests. All of them seem to be in the URLs. So maybe let's try this. Okay. So it looks like there's definitely some issue. Okay. So yeah, we'll wait for it to run and then we will run these tests in debug mode and try to figure out exactly what is happening. Because I don't think this is one of the times that Playwright is just doing something weird and just failing on the first try but then succeeding again. To be honest, I don't really know why any of it would fail, because we haven't changed any code about with the highlighting, and none of these were failing before. A lot of it seems to be in the non-word characters. Test files of the URL. Okay, so yeah, we still have 18 tests failing. They are the same 18 tests that were failing before. So let's actually try to run them one by one in debug mode to figure out what is happening. TweetTextarea React yarn test project equal desktop Chrome G HTTP and HTTPS are allowed. And run that in debug mode. Okay. That's why. Okay, that's fine. So we can do this. Let's change it to actually let's get the CSS and let's go to have class highlight, change it to have class, not what I wanted. Come here, we will paste this in here and let's just make sure that it's doing the correct thing to have class. Okay. Update all of that. place. And let's run the tests one more time. Beyond test. Hopefully everything should pass now. Okay. Everything seems to be fine up until now. Actually, come to think of it, I'll skip, because what I want to do is I checking for the class name might not really be the best way of doing it. Yeah, this is a small problem with the tests, because when using the locators, basically we're checking basically with the class name. However, if the if we pass a class name to the editor, then it means basically that all of these tests would fail, because we're trying to search for the editor using its class name. Which is not ideal, because as I said, like if I now, for instance, do this class name equals and if I now try to run this test yarn test project desktop Chrome source, I need the general, these two tests would fail, because we're literally looking for yep. Interesting. Okay, so what can we do? I think the best thing we can do in this case is is to do the following. We'll use TweetTextarea as we did, and then this way it will actually have two class names, not just the one. We'll use the TweetTextarea one. Now, come on, what is happening? Oh, sorry, it's here. It's just yeah. So as you can see, it has the still has the TweetTextarea, but we can at least or we can still basically pass something else to it. This way, in here, we can do the following, not the paragraph. Let's get this and paste it here. Div not tweet text area. Yeah, that's the correct name. Actually, let's just copy it from here just to be safe. Come on. Could have copied it from the code itself, but doesn't matter. It's the same. And we need to do the same with the span. So the way we're going to do that is by going to items, not format, so we'll add span.class list .add By the way, I want to try something before I actually finish this, because this still might introduce a problem, although I don't think in this case. So what would happen if we actually use TweetTextarea here and make this one? Okay, great. So because we're not passing any styles, this one doesn't get overridden. So even if the user passes the same class name, we should be fine. However, I want to make sure that the test would actually pass, because it still might not pass. Let's rerun this one. Okay, so it passes. We should be fine. So delete that one, and in here add the highlight, and in the CSS we don't have anything, so that should be fine. We will span dot this, and we'll make it span dot highlight, change it, replace, and then to have class damn it. What did I do? Okay, so let's put this is a small problem, but that's fine. Okay, maybe we can do tweet text area entity highlighting, and dismiss this one and replace it with highlight. Replace. Forgot to add the quotes. Replace. Okay. So I think we should be fine now. If we save that. Okay, and even here in this case, if highlight class name, highlight, let's do blue, and font weight will do bold, and can't resolve something. It's going crazy, so we'll need to just do this and start again. Here we go. So if I now type hello at aim site from 100 days of code, why does this look like it's navy for some reason? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, maybe we need to stop it. Your build. Okay, we have an error, so we build again. Okay, start. Okay, not still. Okay, it's still using the navy for some reason. I'm not sure why. Where's that coming from? Do I have a dot highlight in here? Oh. That's fun. Here we go. If we refresh, type again. Yep. All good. And I assume now that even if we change this to something else, editor and custom highlight, and then make this one red. Great, so we have the border is red, which not what I wanted. Yeah, that's fine. And then this one is blue. However, the tests should still pass, I am assuming. So this one, great. So if we run all of them, then let's hope that everything works now. Seem to be doing good so far. Okay. still have some tests failing, so we need to figure that one out. I think it's the same ones that were failing before, so we'll check what is happening. Let's see. This one here. This is the hashtag, not the URL. Right. So can you show me what actually is happening here? So yeah, it has highlight and custom highlight. So should be all right. Let's just skip there and let's debug. From HTTP and HTTPS. This HTTP, yeah, are allowed. Sorry. Let's do this, and let's see what the hell is happening here. Oh, sorry. So that's fine. We type everything, and it works. Okay. So it seems that to have class returns all of the classes. Okay. Yeah. Maybe we should do it that way instead. To have class expect let's just open this one quickly and see if we can I don't think this will work, to be honest. Yep. Doesn't seem to be working. Maybe we should do that. Then const span equal editor dot locator span. Oops. No, I don't think this is the yeah, let's discard these changes, because I don't think this is the best way to do it. Because I can't remember now. I think there is a reason why I didn't do span.highlight here. Not sure why really. Okay, I'll tell you what, we'll do it. Is what we're going to do. Paste this in here. Okay. And we'll add that. We'll just add 2 slashes 4. Same thing here. And I can't find it. So let's maybe try this. Okay. Let's see this one. Nope. Oh. Yep, almost. Okay. So maybe let's try running these ones. Are we failing? What? So URL. Okay. Test project desktop home source tests index URL match tests index URL non-word characters part 1 source tests part 2 source tests part 3. Let's see. Hopefully they all pass now, and that will be it. Yay! Let's do the same for Firefox. Okay. Looks like we may have figured this one out. Yeah, let's delete these and delete these as well. And okay, I think we should be fine now. Don't need that anymore. Let's close all of these. Let's make this smaller. And so we'll disable that quickly and just rebuild just for the sake of it. Great, and yarn start. Let's just go here. Start this one, and let's make sure that we're passing. Yeah. Okay, yarn test. Come on. Desktop Chrome and projects.firefox. And while these tests run, I'll just quickly grab something to drink and come back. So, yeah. So yeah, luckily everything now I've passed, and finally everything is working properly again. By the way, I'll show you something here that I would like to do. Remember how we changed package.json to actually just to update the version? There's a different way of doing that, probably a better way, to be honest, which is actually using npm, because what it does, it updates basically the version in package.json, and it also creates a git tag that will show up on GitHub and you can use to create a new release and things like that. So I'll show you how to do that in a bit, once we actually update everything here. So we're now happy with this. So what I did with the package.json is basically I restored it to how it was. So yeah, what I'll do now is, first we need to actually commit the changes we made before we actually can pump the version number. So I'll do commit, so add ability for users to pass ref. On before input and on input the component. What else did we do? Is there anything worth mentioning here? Yeah, the ability for users to define their own custom styles for highlighting tweet entities. And those are basically the main changes that we have made for this version. So we can save. We look at git log. We have everything basically submitted correctly and get status. That's fine. So what we need to do now is npm version help, or maybe help version, I think. Yeah, so basically, as you can see, the npm version command just can be used to bump the package version. So it can take different arguments. So it can take major, minor, patch, pre-major, pre-minor, pre-patch, or pre-release. So the like, if you know how package versions work, so this is called the major version, which is only incremented if you make any backward compatibility breaking changes. So let's say I'm working like in the future, I'm working on this component and I'm going to make something radical, basically like a radical change to the code that will make basically anyone who's been using the component in a certain way, if they upgrade the component to that version, then the way they've been using the component would entirely break. So basically if I make any change like that, then the major version would be bumped up or incremented in this case. Minor versions are basically any releases that sort of add functionalities but without breaking backward compatibility, and patches are basically the versions that sort of fix bugs or issues with the code. And this is all called basically semantic versioning, which is shortened to semver. So if you look at that, it will basically give you the same explanation. Major, if you make incompatible API changes, when you add functionality for the minor, and the patch when you make bug fixes. And then the additional labels, which as we've seen in the npm help, like pre-major, pre-minor, pre-patch or pre-release and things like that, these usually end up being added as like a suffix to the version number. So if we go here and for instance look for React, search, come on, and look at some of the versions here, as you can see, this is like a release version, but then you have some suffixes added here, like a suffix here. Like these are basically different suffixes that get added to sort of like for pre-releases or experimental or beta releases. But like an official release usually just gets the version number with the basically following basically the proper semantic versioning guidelines, or like so the idea now is we actually want to increment our version number because we've made some changes. If we think about it, it's not backward compatibility breaking changes, but these are also not bug fixes, so they're basically just new features. So we need to bump the minor version of the code. So as I said, I'll show you, basically we only have one tag now, and this is basically for the release that I basically released off stream. So however, if we now do npm version minor and just do that, as you can see, it now bumped it up to 1.1.0. If we check package.json, you'll find that it has the same version number. If we run get tag, you'll find that now we actually have 2 tags. And if we do get log, you'll find that this one actually gets the tag v1.1.0. So now we need to basically push the code to GitHub and push the tag as well. So git push all, and I skipped it by mistake. So this pushed the changes to the code. However, if we go to GitHub and refresh, you'll notice that it didn't actually push the tag itself. It pushed up to the correct commit where we created the tag. However, it didn't push the tag itself. And the way we fix that is we do git push origin v1.1.0 and as you can see, it now basically created a new tag on the remote repository. So if we refresh again, find that now we actually have 2 tags. Both show up here. And the next thing we're going to do is actually create a new release for this one. So we'll call it 1.1.0 and we will just use these as the release notes. It's not a pre-release, and since we're not releasing any actual packages or anything, with this, as the component is always basically gets released on npm, so we're not gonna attach any binaries or anything. So we'll just do publish release, and yeah, here we go. Basically it has the code at that specific commit. So we now go here and check releases. We actually have 2 releases, and each one of them basically has the code up to a specific point in time. As you can see, this is the 1.0.2 and this is the 1.1.0. So we're done with basically releasing it on GitHub. So we need to actually update it on npm as well, because if you look here, it doesn't get updated. It's still on the old version. So we need to push that update to npm. And the way we do that is just simply by running npm publish. So if we look at this, npm help publish, it just basically just publishes a package. You can pass it like a specific folder or something if you want, but if you don't pass it anything, it will basically publish the current package that you have. One good thing to do is to actually do the dry run thing, because you don't, with npm, if you publish a package and then you notice an error, then you basically won't be able to publish the same version again. You will have to delete it and then basically bump the version number and publish a new one. So another thing that is also worth doing is to make sure that you build the component one more time before you actually publish, just because you need to make sure that you have all the folders that are going to be published available. So in this case, it's the dist and the source folders, and they both exist now. So we can do npm publish, and let's also do a dry run and see what will happen. So yeah, it shows us the content that will be published, which is the license, readme, and the contents of the dist folder, package.json, and the contents of the source folder. Which is great. Like if we now go to npm, refresh, still basically the same, nothing actually was published to the registry. However, if we now run this, oh yeah, I need to log in. I haven't actually logged in. Let me just do that off camera quickly. I am now logged in. And here's what we're going to do. Publish, and it's now publishing everything, and it's up. So if we now go here, refresh that, it hasn't shown up yet for some reason, which is weird. Okay, very strange. Let's see. Yeah, I should have it. Yeah, I think it's just a case of website not updating. A bit strange. Let's check it on Google Chrome, npm.js.com, and let's see. Okay, so it shows up on Google Chrome with the new version. And yeah, updated readme. yeah. Let me see. I have disabled cache, so I'm not sure why it keeps showing the. Maybe I need to just type TweetTextarea React in here. Yeah, here we go. Shows the new version now. That's strange, but yeah. And that's mainly it, really. We now have 2 versions. If someone actually wants to download the old version, they can set basically the package.json to actually use the older version, or they can just get the latest one, or yeah, just whatever they want. Yeah, I guess that would be it for today. There are a couple of other things that I still would like to do. Maybe not to the code itself, but maybe to just try and figure out some ways of automating some of these processes. So maybe create some sort of a command that like a yarn script or something that basically goes through the things that we did to basically prepare the new release, push it to, like, add a tag, push it to GitHub, and push the new tag to GitHub, and then publishes the package to npm. There might be also some ways of automating the creation of the releases and the release notes. So yeah, let me just add this in here so we can update release, can clean it up a bit. Yeah, we can maybe try to figure out some of these stuff. I'll also see if there is anything else I might consider doing, and then sometime maybe next stream, the stream after that one, we'll probably start adding basically the component to my application and start actually trying to integrate it and see what else we want to add, because I already know that there are things that I would love to do and that I'll need to do for my app to actually use the component to work well as I want it to do. Like, for instance, I think I'll need a way to actually tell my application where the text cursor is at in the editor, because I was using that functionality from the HTML text area element to do something with the emojis, I think. Assuming there will be other things that I need to do, but yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, really. We just need to make sure that there's nothing else we need to do with the component before we actually start integrating it into my application. And other than that, I hope you've enjoyed this stream, and sorry that the streams are a bit sporadic. Recently, but I have a lot of things going on in my life at the moment that it can be a bit hard sometimes to actually stream. So yeah, hopefully once everything is sorted out, I'll be able to get back to streaming slightly, like more regularly. But yeah, I hope you also find some way of using this component. I know it's a bit specific for any sort of application that needs to work with like writing tweets in Twitter or something like that, but I still think it could be very useful, and some of the things that we've figured out in building this component could actually sort of help if you're building something else that might not have to do with Twitter, but maybe has similar functionality or something like that. Yeah, anyway, I hope you can find any use for this component in one of your projects. And yeah, hope you have a good evening or good night, depending on where you are exactly in the world. And see you in the next stream. Thank you.